Good morning, 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 good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's day is off to a great start. I'm thankful to be in the land of the living this morning. I'm thankful to be amongst the living this morning. I'm thankful that God woke me up this morning and gave me another chance. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Grace Amber. I come on different platforms whenever God gives me a word to share. I come on and I share it with you. So really quick this morning, thank God it's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. I just want to give you a really quick word this morning. And I want to talk to you from the topic of love grown cold. Love grown cold. What am I talking about today? Let me give you the scripture. Let's start there. Matthew 24, go to verse 12. Matthew 24, go to verse 12. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. And the King James Version says wax cold, right? But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. What am I talking about today? So I was driving yesterday in my town. I was driving and I saw these two SUVs. And at first I thought in two separate lanes beside each other. And at first I thought they might have known each other. Because I remember back in the day, like if I was taking my car to get serviced, my dad would be following. We would always follow each other, right? And so I thought maybe these two vehicles were coordinating where they were trying to go together. Well, after a few more seconds of riding down the road, I began to realize that one guy in this vehicle over here was upset with the guy in the vehicle over here. So what do? God forgive me. I pull out, I get off my cell phone. I get off my telephone call and say, Mama, let me call you real quick so I can record this. So I start recording. Anyway, which, Lord forgive me. Why do we do this? Why every time we see some action or something going on, first thing we do is pull out our cell phones? Well, I did it, okay? Don't shoot me. So I pull out my cell phone, I start recording, and make a long story short, it became very clear the more that I drove behind these two vehicles that it was like a road rage incident, right? And I was right behind them, so I got front row seats, right? And I saw everything that was going on. Well, it got pretty nasty. Thank God nobody got shot and killed, right? Thank God the man who was enraged didn't have a gun, because I am certain that if he had a gun, the other one, the little fella over here in this SUV, this little black Tahoe, whatever it was, that did whatever it was that he did, I'm sure that he probably would have been going on to glory or somewhere at the hospital, Biden, ECU Health, Carolina East Medical Center, whatever. What am I talking about today? What I noticed was, and it broke my heart, because I've been in these little incidents like this on the road, right? And what people will do, the devil will get in people to provoke you. See, we talked about Job yesterday or the day before yesterday, and we talked about how God offered Job up to Satan, right? But God gave him instruction that, hey, you can't lay a finger on his life, but you can touch everything that he owns. And so there will be times that God will give Satan permission to do the dirty work that's going to work towards your good, right? And so because Satan is limited in what he can do to you, oftentimes what he tries to do is to irritate you to the point that you will self-destruct. And so I saw this playing out on the road. What ended up happening is the guy in one SUV, he was so hot, he got out. They ended up at a stoplight together, and the guy got out, and he came towards who I really believe was the person who provoked and instigated this whole thing. This guy did something in this black SUV. I can only imagine what it was that he did. He gave this guy the finger. I'm certain that he caught some kind of slur out the window, right? And then he quickly found out that, hey, you can hide in your vehicle and do certain things, but that does not make you untouchable, because the young man who he did these things to, right? The man was determined to get a hold to this guy, and there was nothing but the grace of God that this guy didn't have a gun. It would have been wrong for him to shoot the young man, but I tell you one thing, don't go out here picking with people, and don't go out here starting trouble. Don't go out here picking with people, because you don't know what they are going through. So as I was watching this unfold in front of me, I felt so bad for the man who was pissed off, because I've been there, and I can imagine what the guy did to get him to that point. And so a lot of this is going on today where you see people snapping, you see people going off, you see people enraged. And so the scripture tells you, because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold, right? And so how does that present? People are not going to come out with a sign and say, my love has grown cold. People are not going to come out and say, hey, I need some help. People are not going to come out and say, listen, can somebody come love me or show me some love? It doesn't present that way. Instead, it presents with somebody going off and snapping. Instead, it presents with somebody a fit of rage. Instead, it presents with somebody actually losing their mind, right? That's how it presents. And so what can we do to help? Well, we're not going to put ourselves in danger, right? Unless it's your loved one, and you know how that goes, affairs of the heart. When you love somebody, you're not just going to sit there and watch something happen to them, right? Love won't allow that, right? But nonetheless, what can we do on an everyday basis to combat the level of love that has grown cold in this world? Because we see it on the news, right? We see it in everyday life. You see the videos on social media. You see this stuff. People are going off. I work with people on an everyday basis, people who have lost their mind, people who clearly just needed a little bit of love along the way, people whose love has grown cold. And why does this often happen? The love grows cold because they don't get enough of it. So if you don't feed this thing, guess what? It grows cold. If there is no living love in a person's life, love grows cold. When there is no life in our body and we go away from here, our body grows cold. What can we do to combat the level of love that has grown cold in this world today? I want to give you a scripture real quick, and then I'm going to let y'all go this morning. It's 1 Peter. Go to 1 Peter, the 4th chapter. Go down to the 7th verse. Right? 7th and 8th and 9th verse. The end of all things is near. Therefore, be alert and of sober mind so that you may pray. Above all, love each other deeply because love covers a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. What can we do to combat the amount and the level of love that has grown cold in this world today? We can continue to be somebody to give love to other people. You don't know what people are going through. So, I don't think I have to say this, but I guess I'm going to say it just in case some people don't know this. Don't go out here picking fights with people. Don't go picking with people on the road. Don't go being ugly to people in the grocery store, because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know who is suffering through grief. You don't know who can't see their kids no more and are really trying not to lose their mind as a result of it. You don't know who is being battered at home. You don't know who has been abandoned by their family. You don't know who is getting it stuck to them all the time by their family. You don't know whose lights are out. You don't know who's struggling financially. You don't know who feels that nobody cares about them. You don't know what people are going through. But one thing that we can do today, tomorrow, and moving forward, if you're in the grocery store, hold the door open for somebody. If it's not an electronic auto sensing door, right? Hold the door open for somebody. If somebody drops something on the floor, especially an older person, pick it up for them. You don't know how many of these older people are out here trying to maneuver in society with nobody to help them. You don't know how much of a difference you can make just by speaking to somebody. You don't know how much of a difference you can make just by complimenting somebody. You don't know how much of a difference you can make just by smiling at somebody and telling them happy Friday. You don't know how much of a difference you can make on your job by just being kind. Because I've seen it too many times. People smile in the hallway, they go in their office and they close their door and they go right in there and they start crying because you don't know the battles that people are facing. This is why it is so important for us to show love. The scripture says, above all, love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. When you're riding on the road today and somebody's trying to get over, Why don't you be kind today and let them get over? Because your act of kindness might be the very thing that stops this person from ending it all, that stops this person from going home and ending somebody else's all, if you can read between the lines. You don't know what your act of love and hospitality can do to save somebody from losing their minds and ending up someplace that they don't want to be. We are called to love, and so much as we can, and when it's safe to do so, show some hospitality to someone on an everyday basis. Give them love, because your acts of love can be the very thing that keeps people's love from going cold. Okay, that's my word for today. Happy Friday. Don't get out here on the road flipping somebody the bird, because you just might bite off more than what you can chew. Just because you're in your car does not mean that the person can't get a hold of you. That rhymed, didn't it? Happy Friday, y'all. I hope that word blessed you. I love you. I am Grace Amber. I'll be right back on tomorrow with another word. Well, Monday with another word. Good Lord willing.